Hello and welcome to another episode of Scale Up Stories. Today I am joined by Annabelle, who's the founder of Dunk Cookies, and we're going to be getting into Annabelle and Dunk's cookie story in just a moment. But 2 weeks ago was the last time I'd done this show, and I was in the office. I had a lovely microphone in front of me, and my settings were completely different. It shows how quickly the world changed. So I went on holiday for 3 days, had to cut my holiday short because everything changed. Lockdown happened. Lockdown
You're mid-holiday.
Yeah, mid-holiday. So this is me trying to explain, if you're watching, if you're listening, this doesn't matter to you. Audio might be slightly more muffled from my point of view, but it's only for this week, I promise. But from a visual point of view, I'm literally sat in a bedroom with a lamp that we've never used up on the wall there. We've never used that before. And a bed that isn't made because I'm lazy. And that is the only excuse I've got. So
I'm more interested in the fact that you've just got the one lamp, Ben.
No, there is another. No, there is.
Oh, there is another.
There is another one there. Yeah, I can never get it right. Yeah, so there's two.
Okay, all right.
And literally, we've been in this place now for nearly 3 years. Never used them. Never used them. Never even put a bulb in them, Annabelle. So there we go.
Do you know what though? When you move in somewhere, you think, I'm going to get onto that straight away, and then years go by, and you realise, you know what? It's not that important.
They're also really ugly and don't suit the bedroom. But we still haven't taken them off the wall. So there we go. I think that's just both me and my fiance both being lazy. But anyway, let's jump into the show. Thank you guys for watching. If you are on the Digital Beans company pages on Facebook, YouTube, and of course LinkedIn, make sure you give us a follow and share this video as well. And on top of that, if you're listening through our podcast, the Scale Up Diaries, the Scale Up Stories podcast, then thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe to us on your podcast platform of choice. Anyway, should we jump into this? You know what Scale Up Stories is all about. This is where I talk to business owners from around the Southeast, learning how some of the most well-known local businesses have got to where they are today. And one of my favorite stories is from this lady who's with me today, Annabelle Cox, who we met thankfully through the Kent Foundation. Annabelle is the director, the founder of Dunk Cookies. Annabelle, thank you for coming on. How are you, and how is Lockdown V2 treating you?
Good. Thank you for having me, Ben. Lockdown 2.0, I don't know. TBC. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Honestly, at the moment, we're just being as prepared as we can. And yeah, just being kind of mentally prepared, I think, is actually one of the most important things for what might come. Because, I mean, the first lockdown, it was just so reactionary. So yeah, it's anything we can do to prepare for things we have no idea what might come. So yeah.
And we spoke at the start of lockdown 1.0, as you
we did.
And I think at that point you were working from home a bit like I am today. But we spoke in that episode of Let's Do Lunch about the purchase you had just made, the investment you just made as a business, moving into a factory. And I'm so happy today to report and say that that's where you are today.
I'm in it. Yeah. I know. No, it's so exciting. I mean, yeah, I think we moved in. When did we move in? August. So it's only been like 3 or 4 months. But I feel like this month, I feel like we're finding our feet. Because I mean, there's only so much you can do in terms of like scaling up, processes. You've got to actually like live in it and work in it, to see what needs changing, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like we've got a pretty good rhythm going now, which makes me feel more confident when we're like prepping for things that might come.
And it's good to hear that you guys are prepping and you've got plans as well. But I suppose we should start at the very start of this. We can't, obviously, we'd like to think they do, but we can't assume that everyone has heard or know of Dunk Cookies. So for someone out there who doesn't know about your indulgent brand, Dunk Cookies, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
So I would describe it as a boutique e-commerce bakery. So we don't have a shop front or anything like that. We've just got like a purpose-built production unit and dispatch unit here where we bake all of our goods. And it's very simple. It's like the sweet version of chips and dips. So tortillas and dips, but we're doing cookies and dips. And we have lots of different like dip flavors. We change them every month. We do seasonal stuff. And all of our products are completely customizable. So if you like some flavors, not too hot on some other ones, you can pick and choose what you want in your box. And we send it out to you, arrives on your doorstep, your own little personalized box of goodies. So that's pretty much what we do. Yeah. I
Oh,
think I've lost you, Ben.
I'm back.
I
Can you hear
lost
me
you.
now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you
Sorry,
now.
sorry. I don't know what happened. And I pressed a button, and then you disappeared. But sorry, you're back now. Sorry, carry on. What was you
Oh,
saying?
how much did you hear? Where did you get to?
So you got up to your own box. Obviously, you can personalize it,
Yes.
and you can obviously get your own box of
Yes.
goodies, of treats.
Yeah, so most of our items, yeah, are personalised, which is something that I don't feel, you can get when you go into a supermarket and pick up some biscuits or anything like that. So it is like a super indulgent treat you don't need to leave your house for.
Oh, it's
That's
so
pretty much.
good as well. Amy, who obviously founded Simply Hair with Pip and plays a big part in Digital Beans as well. She just bought a box full from you
Oh
guys,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah,
we had it
the
in the middle of the
yes.
table, and we literally just all jumped in. This was when we could. We literally all queued up and jumped in and just got a little bit of a dip and a dunk, and we just couldn't stay away from it. It's so good, and it's so nice to do in, as you say, like the chips and dips craze. Everyone loves doing it when we can all get together and socialize, and we can all have a nice movie night. It's good to just be able to dunk and have
Yeah.
something. It's
Yeah,
great for
it's
socializing,
social.
isn't it? Dunk cookies.
Yeah, totally. Like I strongly believe like so much of our like snacking is so unconscious. You just don't think about it, do you? But like this, you kind of have to stop, because it's all different pieces and it's so easy to share with someone else. And yeah, it's something that kind of that lasts the whole evening rather than just a and it's gone.
Yeah,
So
although with me and my fiance, they probably
yeah,
will last
maybe.
about 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Like, I
same,
bought, one
same.
of those massive, great big bars of Galaxy that you get this time of
Oh
year.
yeah.
Yeah, two nights. That was it. It was gone.
Do you know
Literally.
what, Ben? I thought you were going to say one night. And
Yeah, no, not one night, 2 nights, and that was me being good. That's why it lasted 2 nights, I
Oh
think. So
wow.
yeah,
Do you
no,
not
they
do you
go.
not get that sugar rush
Do
feeling? You can
you
just
know
keep
what?
going.
I never get sugar. And do you know the other thing as well, which again, slightly off
Yeah.
topic here? I don't energy drinks don't hit me at all. Like I've always tried. Like everyone goes, have an energy drink because I used to do really early mornings on the radio, and everyone was just like, have a Red Bull. Like it was singing to the room.
Yeah.
Never. It's like drinking juice. It just doesn't do anything. I don't get sugar rush.
Hey, so sugar doesn't have a big impact on you.
No,
God, I'm
although it
jealous.
does about 2 hours later make me crash. I've got to admit, like I do have a sugar crash, but I never get like a sugar high, if that makes any sense. I
Okay.
do with coffee. I now can't function without a coffee in the
Oh,
morning.
it's bad, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
bad. Oh,
yeah.
I know.
And lockdown has really made my coffee habits bad. But anyway,
I
going
know.
back into
Yeah.
into you guys and your indulgent products as we've just spoken about, and the e-commerce machine that you've got behind you in order to sell your products online. I just think I had this conversation with Sean Holt, who was talking a bit about Fudge Kitchen, another amazing local brand who very much they believe that a big part of their brand and so to speak, the brilliant brand engagement that they get is down to the shop fronts that people can go in, try a bit, spread the word about it, buy some and have it there. But obviously, as you guys are mainly e-commerce with no shop front, people don't really have that opportunity to try before they buy, do they? So how do you manage to grow and sell your products? Is it online reviews that really help you guys, virality through social posts? What are the key areas for selling your products for you?
Um, well, I suppose it is word of mouth. But obviously, we've got the platform now, but at the beginning we didn't have anybody, we had a couple of people following us. But we didn't have a marketing budget. So, I always wanted to focus on two things to kind of to capture that word of mouth. It was the quality of the product. It doesn't matter how big we scale, like I've, made that commitment that we don't that quality, the ingredients that we put into everything, like that stays exactly the same. I want that kind of consistency. So every time somebody orders, it's exactly the same quality. And then the other thing was just was building an experience with the boxes. Like I know it sounds a bit cliche probably, but when I talk about Dunk, I do talk about it like an experience, not a product.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to get it and sort of to really see, the craftsmanship that's got into it, the love, care, as cheesy as that is, that's got into there, so that the consumer can see the value of their pound, basically. And because it is, I think, more than a product, and it's very much that experience, people want to talk about it and they want to kind of pass it on. They want to share it, like it's a really visual product. So I just knew that if I got that kind of that quality right and that kind of visual element right, and people genuinely really enjoyed it. Obviously you can never plan that people are, that they're going to love the thing that you really love, but for us, that is what happened. So yeah, it was just this kind of word of mouth. One person told two people, who told two people, da 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 da. And then it's just keeping that engagement going with them. Like you say, like we don't have a shop front, so me being able to speak on social, on our stories, on Facebook, it allows them to kind of connect the brand with the individuals who they know have like crafted their package for them. So yeah, it's lots of different things, but a lot of it is our presence on social and building that, and building like a real genuine connection. I think people could see through anything else. So it's not just showing the best bits of your business and the perfect bits of your business. It's showing the bits where you kind of fall apart as well, because I think that's the bit people can relate to. And especially like scaling up and moving into the factory. I mean, I was a shell of a woman during that time. And like lockdown, the effects that have on your mental health, all of that, like people buy from people, don't they? So so just being able just to be really honest, and sometimes that's quite scary. I can't tell you how many posts I have deleted. I've gone out there and then deleted. Now I don't delete anything. I just think you've seen it all now. But just being really honest with them, because I just think otherwise, people don't know where their pound's going. I think that's really important to customers now. I think they want handcrafted goods, and then also to understand where their money's going, and it's not going into a big corporate machine. It's paying real people's wages.
I think it's amazing for you to hear the word experience with your brand in terms of Dunk Cookies. And obviously there's a few things you said there which I'm definitely going to reflect on in a second, but I've got to admit to something here. Do you know, usually like when you're in a conversation with someone and you can like name drop celebrities and stuff like that, it's a clanger. There's always a joke about that. If you ever listen to radio shows or anything like that, it always happens. I name dropped you the other day, Annabelle. Not going to lie. I name dropped you. So one of my good school friends from well, I'll say way back, it wasn't that long ago, but still, one of my good school friends put up a picture, an Instagram story of them having Dunk cookies, and like
put
up an Instagram story, and literally it was like I meant to screenshot and send it to you, but I always get worried screenshotting stuff because it's creepy now, because everyone can see when you've screenshotted something, can't they? So it's like and it was then they put up like I think the first story was something like, want to see what all the fuss is about, because obviously clearly they've heard through word of mouth that obviously what you guys are doing, and how tasty and the experience and everything you've just said. And then the next story was like an empty bag, and it was just like delish. And I replied back because I was like, this is my chance here. I know the person who founded Dunk Cookies. I know Annabelle. Great. And literally then 3 days later, put up another picture. She came back and bought from you again. And I think you're right. That goes to show, like, sort of having that personal touch.
I think that's the challenge, isn't it? It's because there is a lot of hype, I suppose, and especially when I was working from home and could only produce like a certain amount. When there's demand for a product, I understand that people want to buy it, they want to try it, but it's the fact that they keep coming back. And I always get nervous when I see those posts saying, is it going to live up to the hype? And my stomach just goes into knots. And then that sense of relief when they say that, they really enjoyed it. So so it's a lot of different things. It's the quality of the product.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that quality of a product, because as you said, you scaled up. You've now moved into this factory as well. So sort of two questions. One here. What makes a quality product for you? Like, to the nitty gritty, what makes a fantastic cookie, and then what makes a great dip?
Without giving away any secrets.
It's like the KFC chicken recipe here, isn't it?
What makes a good cookie? Look, there was just a lot of testing, like a lot of research. Like, I came up with the idea for Dunk 2 years before I actually made anything. So I must have read absolutely everything there is to know about cookies, and I know what my perfect cookie, and it was just this like process of creating, and all those steps, because it is a simple product, there's like very small margin for error, and if we do something differently in the process, people will notice. So even though we've scaled up, those processes are still exactly the same, and if we swapped out a chocolate for a cheaper brand, that people would notice. Like, So
How tough was
what
that, by the way, Annabelle? Sorry, like scaling up and keeping those processes the same? Because as you said, you're now doing more orders. You've got new people in. I take it as well, creating the
yeah.
product too. So how difficult? How much of a challenge was that?
Um, well, a lot of it is like it's process because so much of, when you're working for yourself, it's just in your head. There's no
Mhm.
need to set up a process. And then it's a lot of training, I suppose, and going slow and really, um talking about the importance of every different stage that we do things. But I mean, our muscles are growing so quickly because I mean, what used to be like small mixers are now like mixers this big, and we're all in there scooping and da da da. So like it has, scaling up has challenges. You're working with big pieces of equipment, but actually like the heart of what we do, the recipes and all that, is exactly the same.
Mhm. Yeah, and to be fair to you guys as well, I mean, I need to probably put another order in, but I think when it comes to a cookie, you guys have hit it. It's soft. I like it. I like a soft cookie, but then it's also got
Yeah,
a nice outside to it. And then when
crunch.
you dunk, yeah, and then when you dip it, your dips are
Yeah,
so good as well because they're not too hard and they're not too soft. They're just there. So there we go. There's a
yeah.
there's a nice review
Yeah,
to stick on the products because
yeah,
they are
thanks,
perfect. They
Ben.
work well. Um, but where did your story start, Annabelle? So you mentioned there the process took a couple of years for Dunk cookies to originate. What was you doing before you came up with a process and before you were thinking about Dunk?
So I was in marketing or digital marketing, and what was I doing? I really enjoy marketing, and I really enjoy kind of that aspect of Dunk. I like the fact that it's kind of a science and an art. I've always enjoyed it, but I just always had this kind of want to run a business. Not, I'm not money driven. It's just I always wanted to kind of move at my own speed. So I always knew that's what I wanted to do, even though it really scared me. So I would just sit there for hours, a lot of evenings, just trying to come up with ideas. And like I would just fill like the notes on my phone or notepads with ideas. And then a lot of them were marketing related because it was what I knew, it was what I was comfortable with. And I
Mhm.
just thought, sod it, do. And I couldn't, I wasn't hitting on my idea. So I was like, well, just do what you love. And then I wrote a really short list of some of the things I loved, and one of them was dunking biscuits. And then I was like, do you know what? That's not a bad idea. Sent it to a friend who is Gwynny, who is so honest. I knew she would tell me the truth. And she also said, you know what? Dunk cookies is not a bad idea. And then I started like telling a few other friends, and everyone said the same thing to me. They said, you know what? You've had some bonkers ideas, but that's not a bad one. And then, but then from that point, it still took me sort of 2 years. It was just a lot of timing, really, find the right time and confidence and whatnot to actually go, do you know what? I'm going to put this little pot of money aside and let's see what happens. And that's pretty much how it
And here
started.
you are. And what about
Here
that
we go.
early days? You say about putting that pot of money aside there. You made a comment to me that, you started off self-funding with £500 in the bank account.
Yeah.
And you had that confidence to move forward with it. What about helping those early days? Can you remember, like, people you went to? I know you've done some work with the Kent Foundation as well, and
Yeah.
how helpful that was.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I can't put a price on how helpful that was. The Kent Foundation matched me up with a mentor. And my mentor, he asked like really challenging questions, like really confronting questions, but in a good way, really trying to set your goals, which is it's so difficult to do when basically all you have is an idea. It's really difficult to say, well, how much do I want to value this at, and where do I want it to, all those kind of big questions. But it was so helpful. Like that direction that I got from them was so helpful. And any time that, because when you do start alone, it is just you, and
Mhm.
your friends, family aren't always going to give you really honest opinions. They might tell you things that you want to hear because they love you. So having that person to go to, was just so valuable. And like you said, I put the £500 aside, and I just said, let's see what happens. If it doesn't work, like I'm happy kind of, let's just call that a hobby. And
Mhm.
I've lost the money, and let's see. And then I think most of that 500 quid went on everything I needed for events. I thought it was going to be an events business. So the table set up, all of that. And then I think I did one event and was like, nope.
Yeah.
No, this needs to be online. And then I was working throughout the whole time. So I never took any money out of the business, I think, for like the first like 15 months, because I was working full time somewhere else. So I was quite lucky in that sense, that every pound I made, every box I sold, I could just continuously reinvest.
Push it back in. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I
That's
need to take that
incredible.
500 quid back out of the
Yeah,
business
you
then.
do. Just
I
start
just
paying yourself
thought
back at least £1 a month, at least.
I
Like, get some of it back at least.
know. God, I'm still owed. Yeah.
I was looking at your website and stuff, and of course, like, what's been great about you, as you say, you started off as an events focus. So I take it your first sales probably came from those events, right? But can you remember when you went, right? Okay, you've got a background in digital marketing anyway, so you're not silly. You know how the e-commerce game works, and you know how to market a product online. And I think you've been doing very well with Dunk Cookies. I think it's a very recognisable brand already. But can you remember when you first pushed it onto its own website and went, oh, will an order come in? When am I going to see an order? Did it all happen quite instantly? Was it a seamless transition, or did it take time?
Well, I tried to do everything in the right way, like
Yeah.
the way that I sort of had been taught with the marketing background. So I wanted to do like market research. So I sent some boxes out to people I knew, and that's how I got my first orders. People came back and said, "Oh, can I order 2 boxes of this?" And I wasn't ready. I didn't have a logo. The logo we have now was me quickly putting something together. And I just thought, you know what, I'll change it. It's just temporary. And then they were saying, "Oh, can we follow you on social?" I didn't have an Instagram, so I spent 20 minutes like quickly coming up with one. And then I think then the people would DM you and ask to buy. And then because that was so admin heavy, I just set the website up. And then but I still remember that feeling, that first like ping from PayPal. And you don't forget stuff like that. It was really exciting. And then I think when I put 10 boxes up, and I think like 4 sold or something in a day, and it was so exciting.
And you've still not taken any of your £500 back. It's crazy,
No,
Annabelle.
I know. Honestly, I can't believe that. I need to write a note to myself.
I did. I was thinking earlier on, and we've spoken a few times, and we talk about your growth and the way you scale. But it'd be good to put like a mini timeline together if you'd be happy to do so. So in terms of when did the business launch officially?
Launch officially in March 2019, so last year.
So last year, and obviously the quick turnaround now is obviously at the start of this year. I'll say start of this year. When was it? It's April. You got the factory. Was it April or was it?
No, it
March?
was June. I think we got the keys in June,
Okay.
but moved in August. So I've in January I started recipe development, coming up with how it was all going to work. I think I had my first Kent Foundation event, I think in March, which I would say like that's the first time I ever did anything like that. So that's kind of when we launched. And then I think started selling around that time. But I was working full time and doing Dunk until February this year, and then went full time with Dunk in March, got the keys for factory in June, and then moved in August.
And how many people officially work for Dunk now? How many people are working for you? 5. That is great in a year.
Scary.
That's amazing. Like, congratulations to you. Like, if honestly, business owners I don't think get enough credit sometimes. If you get 5 minutes to pat yourself on the back, please pat yourself on the back.
I don't.
Annabelle,
I don't think it's processed. I don't know. It's not. The thing is, I've not had any time off to process it yet. So I feel like Christmas I'll be able to like.
But then also business owners as well, and I know full well, speaking to quite a few of them on scale up stories, especially within your industry, and especially being around Pip as well, quite a lot who obviously you know quite well too with the Kent Foundation. Business owners don't ever pat themselves on the back anyway. It's more than about, right, the team, what do we do to improve, where do we go next? And I think sometimes it's nice for someone like me to actually turn around to a business owner and go, you should be patting yourself on the back, because I think that gets lost within this crazy world that we live in. Although we engage more than ever through social media, not enough people tell other people that they're doing well and give them a pat on the back themselves. So I think it's always nice to be able to do that, especially put in mind we can't see each other at the moment because of blooming lockdown.
No, totally. No, I really appreciate that. That is one of the things actually I do really enjoy about social and Instagram. It's just out of the blue, someone can be your best hype woman, and say the the exact thing you needed in that moment to kind of keep you going.
Yeah.
Because people are really invested in like not just your product but like your story as a business, and they want to be part of that. So yeah, they're all kind of my hype people sometimes.
Yeah,
Quite
we
nice. Yeah.
we mentioned about obviously the factory, and now you're managing to expand, and you're obviously fulfilling more orders. You're able to take more orders as well. I suppose that would be a win that's helped you accelerate, hasn't it? More than anything else in terms of your growth. But is there anything else along the way? Like you say, you made the decision obviously in February to go full time with Dunk. Is there something that particularly happened, or was it the process of going into the factory that made you go, right, here we go now? It's time to put my foot on the pedal and continue the growth of this company?
Do you know what? Honestly, it was quit or grow, like scale up.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
It was two options. There was nothing else. And like quit wasn't really an option. So we just had to scale up. You know, I think working from home works for some people, didn't work for me, especially when you're producing something. I mean, I didn't have a home left. It was just a mini factory. And yeah, I just think where I wanted the business to be, it was just, and that kind of, I remember that moment realizing that kind of actually was my only option. I didn't really have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that I had to do this really scary thing that I didn't really know anything about. But yeah, and it was just that or quit, which I'm not going to quit. So
Happy with your decision?
yeah, definitely. And like, even if, you know, it doesn't work out, and, you know, which I mean, I'll just touch loads of wood now. No, I'm really happy we still did it. I think you have to do things that scare you. And I've done a couple of those things now to kind of trust my gut a little bit more than I used to. And yeah, I think, I mean, I'm still happy about it.
I was going to say, is that how it felt? Obviously, I can hear it and see it in your voice. You're obviously excited, but was it extremely scary to think, well, wait a second, like my whole business is now going to be under this one roof. We're going to be able to take more orders, and I'm going to have to be a business owner here and manage and run a business with five people working like for me.
Oh
Was
God,
it
yeah.
extremely scary?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like all those factors, but it's the financial aspect. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
the most scary. That's the one that, you know, like you genuinely lose sleep over, and have heart palpitations over. And it's like the biggest commitment I've ever made. So really, you've really got to trust yourself. And kind of a lot of it's trusting that feeling. But I think for us, we built up that demand that made me quite confident, and we built up like such a rapport with our customers that it felt like they were really behind us. So if we did scale up, you know, we would, you know, they'd be there supporting us when we did. So yeah, it was just, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still happy about it. I'm not.
You should be. You
I
should be
hope this
happy about it.
continues.
You should be happy about it. And obviously, everyone right now is talking about the e-commerce boom because of obviously the change slightly in consumer behaviour. Now you're already online and you've got an indulging product that has great virality about it. So surely that sets your business in great stead to be able to see this e-commerce boom, to see what's happening right now with e-com. Over the last 6 to 8 months, have you seen that? Have you seen e-commerce grow yourselves?
Oh, definitely. I think, you know, particularly like during the first lockdown, I think like the novelty of being able to, you know, when you realize how many things you can buy online, and yeah, there was definitely more of a novelty. So I think there was definitely sort of potentially more market out there, but then there's market saturation as well. So, you know, everyone's taking their businesses online. So yeah, it's a real double-edged sword. So that's why it's so important for us. It's that, I know I keep harping on about it, but that quality of the product. Like you know, and that traditional marketing funnel, like that loyalty is you know, that's what we're aiming for, and we want people to keep coming back. Like it's so easy to get somebody to buy something once, but to get them to buy it twice and then tell somebody about it and talk about it, like that's you know, that's what's the word I'm looking for? The
I
end
mean,
goal.
that's the
Yeah.
goal. Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
absolute goal. You're completely spot on. And obviously, you guys will have some, I suppose, some exciting plans coming up. Obviously, this year has been a very, very funny year for all businesses. You guys have managed to scale during it, which is an incredible achievement. And you're going from strength to strength. So, what does the future hold for Dunk Cookies?
Well, the future. I've got like 2 words written above my door, which I can't say, but that's when no, I can't. But that's like my end goal for Dunk. So I've always got that kind of. But do you know what? For the next couple of months, I want to feel steady, I suppose. I think we've grown a lot, and I think it would be silly to kind of do the same again in the next like 6 months. I think we've got to find our feet. Like I don't want to get too many people in too quickly, and then that compromises the process, the quality, all that kind of stuff. I want us all to feel quite steady where we are, if that makes sense. Because I just think, I think this year's been really unstable, and then obviously like the quick growth that we've seen in the business. I wouldn't mind a few months of just a little bit of stability, I think.
I don't blame you. Wouldn't
anyone?
I'm gonna throw this one at you, because I know you won't mind this at all. But obviously, what about for small business owners, entrepreneurs like yourself a year ago, when we first met at the Kent Foundation event? What about for those guys who are just starting out now in business? Have you got a message for those people?
Do you know what? Progress, not perfection. Like you will never start anything. I know. Yeah. You'll never start anything if you're waiting for a perfect something. Just get it out there. Like see what the market says, see what their reaction is. Is there any demand for something? Like, there's no point spending tens of thousands on prototypes if you don't know there's a market for that product. So just put the feelers out. I mean, social is the best way to do it. It's the best focus group. People will be extremely honest with you, whether you want them to be or not. So just don't wait. What's the
Move
worst
forward, strive to achieve. Yes, 100%.
Exactly.
I completely agree with that, Annabelle. And I think we've asked everything. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I can only wish you guys the best. Obviously, it's been amazing following your growth and following the business. And I have got to say, earlier on when you was talking about putting a face to the business and how honest, how humble you are on the social media channels, I think Dunk Cookies is obviously one of the best Instagram accounts to follow, because you're regularly on there yourself, and you're giving a view behind the scenes, which I think is something brands like yourselves don't do. So I think it's absolutely great to have that. So keep it up, keep up the amazing work. And if someone is really, really hungry watching this and is going to put on a movie tomorrow night, what should they go and do, Annabelle? What should they go and order online?
Well, they should go to www.dunkcookies and get yourself a build your own box. I think we're sold out at the moment, but we restock the website every Sunday at 10 a.m. So we put loads more goodies on there. So yeah.
Nice, perfect, brilliant. Annabelle, thank you so much for coming on. Take care, and we'll be back next week with another Scale Up Stories. Again, if you're listening to this, make sure you subscribe to Scale Up Diaries and Scale Up Stories on your podcast platform. And if you're watching this live or on a video a bit later on, make sure you follow our LinkedIn page and YouTube and Facebook as well. Just search Digital Beans UK. Annabelle, thanks again. And for now, bye bye everyone. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll be speaking to you next week after a good week in lockdown. Fingers crossed. Take it easy.